My name is Ana Maria. It's Rhea. Not telling you my last name, but you can call me Star or Marie. And today I'm reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Um, yeah. One moment. I'm just. Okay. I forgot how to add the thing. Yeah. So it's sort of. Okay. So either way. Um, yeah. Let me just get started. Look, I don't want. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you may be one, my advice is to close this book right now. Believe whatever lies your mom or dad told you about your birth, and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time, you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this, sorry, if you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize, recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stringing you inside, stop reading immediately. You may be one of us, and one you, and once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too, and they'll comfort you, and they'll comfort you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. Until a few months ago, I was a boring student at Yahoo Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. I could start at any point in my short, short miserable life to prove it. I could start anywhere in my short miserable life to prove it. But things really started going bad last May when our sixth grade class took a field trip to Manhattan, 12 mental case kids, and two teachers field to Manhattan. 12, 28 mental case kids, and two teachers on a yellow school bus heading to the mental something museum of art to look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I know it sounds like it torture. Most of the field trips were, but Mr. Mr. Burner, our our Latin teacher, was leading this trip, so I had hopes. Mr. Burner was the middle-aged guy in a motorized wheelchair. He had thin hair and a scrappy beard, and and a, a frayed tween jacket, which always smelled like coffee. You wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told stories and jokes and let us play games in class. He also had this awesome collection of Roman armor and weapons, so he was the only teacher whose class didn't put me to sleep. I hope the trip. I hope. I hope the trip would be okay. At least I hope that. For one, I I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, I was wrong. See, bad things happen to me on field trips like at my like at my fifth grade school, where I went to from Battlefield. I had this accident with a war cannon. It's a revolving war cannon. Wasn't it? Wasn't aiming for the school bus. But of course, I got expelled anyway. And before that, my fourth grade school, when we took a behind-the-scenes tour of the Marin World Shark Pool, I was sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took a plunge in a unplanned swim. And the time before that, well, get the idea. This trip I was determined to be good, all the way into the city. I put up with it. Nanny Bonifit, the freaky redhead, who Michael, hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with a chunk of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny. He cried when he got frightened. He must have been held back several grades because he was the only sixth grader with an act. And the start of a wispy beard on his chin. On top of all that, he was crippled. He had no exclusion from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular deficiency in his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him. But don't let that fool you. You should have seen him running when it was athletic day in the cafeteria. In the cafeteria. Anyway, Nanny Bonfire was throwing wads of a sandwich that stuck in his curly brown hair, and she knew I couldn't do anything back to her because I was already on it. The headmaster had threatened me with death by in-school suspension if anything bad, embarrassing, or even mildly entertaining happened on this trip. I'm going to kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me. I'm going to kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay. It's okay. I like peanut butter. He devolved another piece of Nan's lunch. That's it. I start to get up, but Grover pulled me back. Wait, sorry. That's it. I started to get up, but Grover pulled me back to my seat. You're already on probation. He reminded me. You know you'll get blamed if anything happens. Looking back on it, I wish I'd decked in Nanny Bonfire. Wait a minute. I lost the page. Okay, here we go. Right then and there, in the school suspension would have been nothing compared to the mess I was about to find myself into. Mr. Berner held the museum tour. He rode up in front in his wheelchair, guarding us through the big gallery paste, pasted marble statue, and glass case full of really old black and orange pottery. It blew my mind that this stuff had survived for 3,000 years. He gathered us around a 13-foot tall stone with a big sphinx on the top, and started to tell us how it was a great marker, a for a girl about our age. He told us about the cave carving on the side. I was trying to listen to what he had to say because it was kind of interesting. But everybody around me was talking, and every time I told him to shut up. The other teacher, Mrs. Dobbs. The other teacher chimed in. Mrs. Dobbs would give me the evil eye. Mrs. Dobbs was this little math teacher from Georgia, who always wore a black leather jacket. Who always wore a black leather jacket, even though she was 50 years old. She looked me enough to ride Harley right into your locker. She had come to New York for halfway through the year, when our last teacher had a nervous breakdown for the first time. Mrs. Dobbs loved Nana Fountain Fit, and figured I was the devil spawn. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey." Real sweet. And I knew I was going to get after-school detention for a month. One time after she'd made me erase answers out of my old math workbooks until midnight. I told Grover I didn't think Mrs. Dobbs was human. He looked at me real seriously and said, "You're absolutely right." Mr. Berner kept talking about great Colonel art after Nanny bombed Snickers, something about the naked guy on this eel. I turned around and said, "Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant it to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Burnham stopped his story. "You will answer the fucking question, or I will beat the answer out of you." I'm sorry, everyone. We're gonna have to go on a little bit of on mute for a little bit, but I'll be back in a bit. So. Mr. Jackson, he said, did you have a comment? My face turned totally red. I said, no, sir. Mr. Burnham pointed out one of the pictures on the steel. Perhaps you'll tell us about this picture. I looked at the carving and felt a flush of relief because I actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? Yes, Mr. Burnham said. Obviously not satisfied. Yes, Mr. Burnham said, obviously not satisfied. And he did this because, well, I racked my brain and to remember. Kronos was the king god and god, Mr. Burnham asked. Titan. Sorry. Titan, I corrected myself, and he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods, so Kronos ate them, right? But his wife had hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock to eat instead, and later, then Zeus grew up. He tracked his dad Kronos into the airfield, into the island of his brother and sister, and walked up his brother and sister. Ew! Ew! Said one of the girls behind me. And so there was this big fight between the gods and the Titans. I continued, and the gods won. Some snickers from the group behind me. Nanny Bonfire mumbled to a friend mumbled to a friend. Like we're going to use this in real life. Like it's going to stay on our job applications. Like it's going to stay on our job applications. Like it's going to stay on our job applications. Please explain why Kronos ate his kids. And why Mr. Jackson Oh, wait, my bad. I messed it up a little bit. Please explain why Kronos ate his kids, and why Mr. Jackson, Burnham said. To paraphrase, Mr. Bonfit. Question, does this matter in real life? Question, does this matter in real life? Bastard, Grover mumbled. Shut up, Nanny shut up, Nanny hissed. Her face was a bright red, redder than her hair. At least Manny got picked too. Mr. Burnham was the only one who ever catched her saying anything wrong. He had a Raider here. I thought about his question and shrugged. I don't know, sir. Mr. Bronner looked disappointed. Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did indeed beat Cronus Axter of S, and one such made him discard his other 5 children who have, of course, been immortal gods, had been living and growing in complete in Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, silenced him to pieces, sliced him into pieces with his own sight. I'm reading Percy Jackson on stream. Yeah. No one's seen it now. Oh, hello. With his own sight, and scattered his remains in Tardis, the darkest place of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dobbs would lead us back outside. The class drifted off. The girls held their stomachs. The guys pushed each other around and acted like doofuses. Grover and I were about to follow when Mr. Burnham said, Percy Jackson. I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going. Then I turned around. Mr. Burnham, sir. And I turned around, turned towards Mr. Burnham. Sir, Mr. Burnham said, and Mr. Burnham had this look that wouldn't go in intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old and had seen everything. You must learn the answer to my question, Mr. Burnham told me. About Titans, about real life, and how your students apply it, and how your students apply to it. Oh, what you learn from me, he said, is vitally important. I expect you to train it. I expect you to treat it as such. I will I'll accept only the best from you, Percy Jackson. I want to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool on it. I'm tormenting these days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, Wahoo! And he called us a sword point and challenged a sword point against it. Chalk to run to the board name. Board name Greek and Roman persons who had ever lived and their mother and what god they worshipped. But Mr. Burnham expected us to be as good as everyone else. despite the fact that I had dyslexia, and ended at Discord, and I had never been above a C in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better, and I just couldn't learn all those names, and the facts, much less spelling them correctly. I mumbled something about trying hard, trying harder, while Mr. Bunham looked one long, took one long sad look at the sill, like he'd have been at this girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. Oh my god, guys, I need to breathe. This is going to be a little out of it. I'm going to go on mute real quick. Yeah, so I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the wait. The class gathered on the front step of the museum, where we could watch the traffic go along 50th Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I'd ever seen over the city. I figured that maybe it was a gone warning of something, because the weather all around New York the state had been weird since Christmas. We had massive snowstorms, floodings, windfall from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been as surprised if this was a hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice but no one else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were what is that word? Pigonons? I don't know what that is. Okay, but we were with lunch chowder and crackers. Manny Bonfire was trying to pickpocket something from the lady's purse, and of course, Mr. Dobbs wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat at the edge of the away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everyone wouldn't know we were from that school. The school for losers, freaks who couldn't make it in anywhere, and who could make it elsewhere. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Burns. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then again, I thought he was going to give me on give me on some deep philosophical comments to make me feel better. He said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. I watched the stream of the crabs going down 50th Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little ways out of town from where we sat. I haven't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so badly to jump in a taxi, head home. She'd hug me and I'd be glad to see me and be glad to see me. But she'd be disappointed too. She'd sent me in right back to in Yorkshire from remind me that I had to try harder even if this was my sixth school in 6 years, and I was probably going to be kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look on that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Burnham parked his wheelchair at the base of the head bin. He ate it in clear area clearly while he read a paperback novel. A red, a red unfilled snack up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nanny Bonfire appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she'd gotten tired of stealing from the tourists and dropped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. Oops, she grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange. Her freckles were orange, as if somebody had sprinkled paint, painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me a million times, count to 10 and count to 10, get control of your temper. But I was so mad, my mind went black. A wave rushed in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nanny was strung on her butt. The from screaming, "Percy pushed me!" Mrs. Dobbs materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see the water? Like it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was in trouble again. As soon as Mrs. Dobbs was sure her poor little nanny was okay. To get her a new shirt. at the museum gift shop, etc., etc. Mrs. Dobbs turned on me. There was a fire in her eyes, as if I had done something she'd been waiting for all semester. Now, honey, I knew I was a month erasing homework. That wasn't the right thing. That wasn't the right thing to say. Come with me, Mrs. Dobbs said. Wait, Grover yelled. It was me. I pushed her. I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe that he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dobbs Mrs. Dobbs scared Grover to death. She glared at him so he had his chin tremble. I don't think so. I don't think so, Miss Underwood said. But you will stay here. But you will stay here. Grover looked at me. It's okay, man. It's okay, man. I told him. Thank you for trying.
I'm leaving you.
Okay. One moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry for taking so long. Alright. Where was I? Now, honey. I know. I grumbled. A month erasing the homework. That wasn't the right thing to say. Come with me, Mrs. Dobbs said. Wait, Grover yelled. It was me. I pushed her. Wait, Grover said. It was me. I pushed her. I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dobbs scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his wispy chin trembled. I don't think so. I don't think so, Miss Underwood said. She said. But you will stay here. Grover looked at me partly. It's okay, ma'am, I told him. Thank you for trying. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for trying, honey. Mrs. Dobbs. Thank you for trying, honey. Mrs. Dobbs barked at me. Now, Nanny vomited. He smirked. I gave her my deluxe. I'll kill you later. I gave her my deluxe. I'll kill you later stare. Then I turned to face Mrs. Dobbs, but she wasn't there. She was staying at the museum entrance. Wait, at the top of the steps, guarding impatiently at me to come up. How'd she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know, I've missed something, as if the puzzle piece fell out of the universe and left me staring at the blank space behind it. The school counselor told me that this was a part of ADHD. My brain misinterprets things. I wasn't so sure. I was after Mrs. Dobbs, hallway, up the steps. I glanced back at Rover. He was looking pale, curling his eyes between me and Mr. Burnham. Mr. Burner. Like he wanted Mr. Burner to notice what was going on, but Mr. Burner was absorbed in his novel. I looked back at Mrs. Dobbs. Had disappeared again. She was now inside the building at the end of the entrance hall. Okay, I thought. She's going to make me buy a new shirt for Nan at the gift shop. But apparently that wasn't the plan. I followed her deeper into the museum. Then I finally caught up to her. We were back in a Greek and Roman section. Except for us. The gallery was empty. Mrs. Dobbs stood with her arms crossed in front of the big marble figure of a Greek god. She was making this weird noise in her throat, like growling. Even though the noise I would have never wouldn't have been nerves. It was weird being alone with the teacher, especially Mrs. Dobbs. Something about the way she looked at the figure, as if she as if she wanted fool, as if she wanted to pulverize it. I've been growing up, giving up, you've been giving us problems, honey. You've been giving us problems, honey, she said. I didn't, mm, she said. I did the safe thing, I said. I did the safe thing. I said, yes, ma'am. She targeted. She tugged on the cuff of her leather jacket. Did you really think you would get away with it? The look in her eyes was beyond mad. It was evil. She's a teacher, I thought nervously. It's not like she's going to hurt me, I said. I'll try harder, ma'am. Thunder shook the building. We are not fools, Percy Jackson, Mrs. Dobbs said. It was only a matter of time before we found out. On S. It was only a matter of time before we found out. Confess, and you will suffer less pain. I don't know what. I didn't know what she was talking about. All I could think of was that the teacher must have found the illegal stash of candy I'd been stealing out of my dorm room. Or maybe they'd realize I got my essay on Tom Sawyer. Oh my gosh, Tom Sawyer. Bungo Stray Dogs reference? Okay. From the internet without even reading the book. And now they were going to take away my grade. Or worse, they were going to make me read the book. Well, she demanded. Ma'am, I don't know. Your time is up. Your time is up, she hissed. Then the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like burning coals. Her fingers stretched, turning into a talon. Her jacket melted into her into large, angry wings. She wasn't human. She was a one with bat wings and claws and a mouthful of yellow fangs. She was about to silence me and slice me to ribbons. Then things got even stranger. Mr. Burnham, who had been out in front of the museum minutes before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery hall, a pen in his hand. Woohoo! Whoa! Percy, what the fuck was happening on this? I gave him like a bellowy voice before. Whoa, Percy. Whoa, Percy! He shouted, and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dobbs lunged at me with a yelp. I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, but then it hit my hand. It wasn't a pen anymore. It was a sword. Mr. Burnham's bronze sword, which it always used he always used to torment me. tournament days. Tournament days. Mrs. Dobbs spawned towards me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad I almost stopped to drop the sword. She snickered. Die, honey. And she flew straight at me. Absolute terror ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. The metal blade hit her shoulder and passed cleanly through her body, as if she was made of water. Mrs. Dobbs was a sandcastle in a power fan. She exploded into yellow powder. All vaporized on a spot, leaving me chills of evil in the air, as if those two glowing red eyes were still watching me. I was alone. There was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Burnham wasn't there. Nobody was there but me. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have been contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside. It had started to rain. Grover was sitting by the fountain. Museum map taped over his head. Nanny Fitz was still standing there, soaked from her swim in the fountain, grumbling to her ugly friends. When she saw me, she said, "I hope Mrs. Care with your butt." I said, "Who?" "Our teacher, duh." I blinked. We had no teacher named Mrs. Care. I asked Nan. What she was what she was talking about. She was rolling her eyes and turned away. I asked Grover where Mrs. Dobbs was. He said, "Who?" But he paused first. And he didn't look at me, so I thought he was messing with me. "Not funny, man. I told you." I told him. "This is serious." Thunder booming overhead. I saw Mr. Burnham sitting under his red umbrella, reading his book, as if he never moved. I went over to him. He looked up at me, a little distressed. "Ah, that would be my pen. Please bring your writing utensils, Mr. In the future, Mr. Jackson." I held Mr. Burnham. I handed Mr. Burner his pen. I hadn't realized I was still holding it. "Sir," I said, "where is Mrs. Dobbs?" He stared at me blankly. "Who?" The only the other chaperone. The other chaperone. Or whatever. I don't know how to say that word. I'm sorry. Mrs. Dobbs, the pre-algebra teacher. Algebra. Pre-algebra teacher. He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. "Percy, there is no Mrs. Dobbs on this trip. As far as I know, there was never Mrs. Dobbs at Academy. Are you feeling alright? Well, that's where we're going to be ending it today. That was chapter 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the lightning piece. Thank you for reading this with me, and, oh, schnitzel. Thank you for reading this with me, and, yeah, bye. How do I end this again?